Welcome to Podcasts, recorded live at the Center for Spiritual Living in Portland, Oregon. We have many programs, classes, and workshops developed just for our online audience. To find out more, go to our website at cslportland.org and look under the Online tab. Our mission is to open hearts, ignite minds, and make a difference. If you'd like to support our center and its video podcast, you can donate online at cslportland.org/donate. Allow us to become part of your extended spiritual community. Wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you are most welcome at the Center for Spiritual Living.
That helps. There you go. Good morning. Happy Sunday. Welcome. If you'd all stand, we'll get ready to sing our opening song, God is My Source. My power, God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. God is my source, God is my power, God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. Love is my source. Love is my power. Love gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. Love gives me everything I need. Love is my source. Love is my power. Love gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. Love gives me everything I need. God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. God gives me everything I need. God gives me everything I need.
Good morning and welcome to the Portland Center for Spiritual Living. We are a community that teaches and practices spiritual principles to uplift and transform our lives and make the world a better place. Wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you are welcome here. All we ask is that you stay open to the possibility of changing your entire life simply by changing your mind. My name is Nancy Ashley, licensed practitioner here. My pronouns are she and her. I serve as a licensed spiritual practitioner, and it is my honor to welcome you. A special welcome to anyone who's here in our sanctuary for the first time or on our virtual community space. If you are visiting, there is a welcome packet, and you may have got one. We had at least one new person here today. Yes, okay, welcome. And if you're on the virtual community, there is all of the same information on our website, cslportland.org, under the About Us tab. Both contain information about who we are, what we stand for, and how we might serve you. Reverend Bridget, in person after the service, or via email through a link on our website, is open to answering any questions that you might have. On our website, you can also sign up for weekly emails that detail our events, register for classes, and even get a free gift on your birthday. This comes out on Tuesday, and it's so helpful. I really invite you to go ahead and get signed up for that. Just remember right now to please silence your phone if you haven't already, and make sure that we don't get any interruptions on that. A lot of announcements here this morning. We have something special going on. Dr. Draker Keltner, the author of Awe, A New Science of Everyday Wonder and How It Can Transform Your Life, will be hosted by Mile High Church. We'll join them for a watch party from here in the sanctuary. The date is Friday, November 1st, 2024, at PCSL. So we'll be here. We will begin with a community potluck at 5 o'clock, then settle in to watch Dr. Keltner at 6 p.m. Pacific time. Sign up for this here at the back of the sanctuary. So there are 4 different sign-up sheets at the back, so please check. We've got a number of things going on. Reverend Bridget will speak about awe at the November 3rd Sunday celebration, and in November and December, we will meet 3 times as small groups as we look at awe in our lives and explore awe as a spiritual practice. Discuss how to cultivate it and discover as many of its benefits as possible. So we're seeking volunteer facilitators to host these small groups, and it doesn't have to be a practitioner. Anyone can facilitate a small group discussion. It's as simple as talking with your neighbor. Reverend Bridget will prepare a workbook to guide your discussions. Details for volunteering are on our website, and you can also talk with Reverend Bridget, and there's a sign-up sheet in the back. So you have we have a lot of flyers here today. Nope, it's not that one, not that one. Here we go. You have this in your program, so please take a look at it, and this gives you the information that you need. Okay, then we also have a new member class. Do we have a flyer on that one? Yes. In your program, there is a flyer for our new member class on Sunday, November 3rd at 12:30 here. And you are welcome. Have you wanted to become a full member of our loving community? Join Senior Minister Reverend Bridget and our board president, Rick Smith, to learn the basics of what we believe, where we fit in, and how we might serve. The class is free, implies no obligation, and everyone is welcome to explore the idea of membership. So again, you have a flyer on that one too. The class will be held both online via Zoom technology and in person upstairs in the classroom. Finally, we have a harvest potluck coming up on November 24th. This is the Sunday before Thanksgiving, following the celebration service. This is our annual potluck dinner. Join us as we gather in celebration of the bounty of Spirit present in our lives. Please bring a friend to introduce to the community, and the center will provide turkey and ham. You bring your favorite side dishes to share, and you can, again, sign up in the back, both if you're coming and if you're bringing anyone, and what potluck you're going to bring. So next Sunday is we're going to recognize all the many people who contribute volunteer services at the center. If this is you, please attend either in person or online so we can celebrate and thank you. So that's next Sunday. Today, licensed practitioners Kathy Batten and Andy Tureen are serving on High Watch, holding a sacred container of consciousness in the sanctuary and for our virtual community. Today, our special music is April Krubel. Welcome back. Our wonderful Friends Band, and of course, Kristen, who just led us here in our community music, so thank you. Yay! Today's message is by our senior minister, Reverend Bridget McCann, our spiritual leader. Her talk is titled, Nothing is Pie. I think that maybe means nothing is as easy as pie. We'll find out. And please welcome Reverend Bridget. Our flowers are courtesy of Marcia Hudson, who is here. Thank you. Now, I invite you to sit back and relax, because I know that somewhere between this beautiful spiritual community, the music, the meditation, and the message is exactly what your heart came to receive. We know that this great power, this oneness, we call God or Spirit, divine intelligence, there is only one. It is that essence, the power that is everywhere present in the universe, in, through, and as everything. And it is based in love, wisdom, abundance, wholeness, unity. All of these qualities are fully present everywhere in the universe or in the cosmos, as Catherine would say. And knowing that it is all everywhere, that means it's in me. And I am a unique, individualized expression of that oneness. And that is true for every person here, every person in our virtual community, every person everywhere is a unique, individualized expression of that oneness, that we are all one. And so I know, I claim and affirm for us today that we are representative of that oneness, of that abundance, that we are sharing the love, the wisdom, the wholeness of Spirit in us, as us, in our whole community. And so knowing that this is the truth of our being, that we are able to be expressions of that oneness anytime, anywhere. It is always available to us. We are able to be the love, the friendship in the community, in here, in our families, in our homes, everywhere. We are able to be that abundance of friendship and love, of wholeness and wisdom. And I am so very grateful to know this truth about us, that we are each unique, individualized expressions of the oneness, perfect in our own right. And so I just give thanks for knowing this truth, for knowing that it is the truth of our being. And so I release my word into the action and activity of the law, knowing it is already done. Our words are spoken, and they are formed in principle. And so I release this, I let it be, and together we say, and so it is. And as we go into a few minutes of silent meditation, I just invite us to think about the abundance of love, wisdom, wholeness that is in our lives right now.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. It's good to see you here. And for anybody who's new, I'm Reverend Bridget. I'm the senior minister here. My pronouns are she and her. And it's good to have you here. This month, October, has been, our series is Partners in Prosperity. Each Sunday, we're looking at a different aspect of prosperity. And despite all the talk from everybody that they would like to experience prosperity, there sure is an awful lot of focus on scarcity. It seems to be everywhere in our society. In fact, in the book, The 15 Commitments of Conscious Leadership, one of the commitments is having enough of everything. And what the authors mean by that is, as they work with business leaders, corporate executives, they try to get them to switch their mindset from there's not enough, we have to compete for everything in business, to knowing I have enough of everything. And for each commitment, the authors they lay out what is considered below the line thinking and what is above the line thinking for each commitment. And for this commitment, having enough of everything, below the line sounds like this. I commit to a scarcity mentality, choosing to see that there is not enough for me and others in the world, and therefore I have to be conscious of making sure I get and preserve what is mine. Above the line looks like this. I commit to experiencing that I have enough of everything, including time, money, love, energy, space, resources, etc. And as an aside, I love the fact that a bunch of business consultants are encouraging their leaders to know they have enough love. And the authors state that of the 15 commitments, this one is the most difficult to get these corporate execs to commit to. This idea that there's enough of everything. And it's because we're told all the time, from the time we're very young in this society, we're told that there's not enough. We hear it in our families, at schools, in society, in our public dialogue, in our politics, that there's the haves and the have-nots, that I gotta get mine, look out for number one. And there's so much of it. In fact, there's so much of it, I started realizing that this scarcity mentality underlies a great deal of the divisiveness in this country. For instance, immigration. And this could be, or maybe I should just say migration, because it applies to people who come here from other countries, and those of us who live in the West like to pick on Californians, moving from California to our states. We don't want you, there's not enough. There's not enough jobs, there's not enough affordable housing, there's not enough land, there's not enough resources. Go back to where you came from, go back to California, there's not enough, go away. So you relate. You've heard this. It's also, I believe, a scarcity mentality that underlies this resistance to changing from fossil fuel economy to more green sources, renewable sources of energy. We hear there's not enough jobs, there's not enough business. It underlies sometimes our personal relationships in the form of jealousy. There's not enough love. Or in the corporate world, there's not enough business, there's not enough clients, there aren't enough ideas, so we have to compete. So I did some research on the negative impacts of all this scarcity mentality, and I was astounded, but maybe I should not have been surprised at the long list that researchers, academic psychological researchers, have found are the adverse impacts of scarcity mentality. And I'll start by sharing that they found that the belief in lack or the perception of lack is just as powerful in creating these problems I'm going to share with you in a minute as actual lack. Probably not a surprise to those of us who believe our consciousness helps create our reality. But take a deep breath, because this is a long list. The adverse impacts of scarcity thinking. Jealousy, stress, low self-esteem, anxiety or depression, strained relationships, hyperfixation or tunneling, poor decision-making, increased competition, decreased empathy, negative effects on executive control, attention, memory, increased social problems such as loosening moral standards, violating social norms, increased antisocial behavior, self-centered bias, and less sharing. I would add to that, most likely our self-care also suffers because we believe we don't have enough time or energy. But Abraham Hicks reminds us there is no shortage of money or time. There is no shortage. And any attention to shortage of something wanted will always produce negative emotion within you, because your guidance is letting you know that you have strayed from your broader basic understanding of abundance and well-being. And remember, well-being is the original meaning of the word wealth, which Eric Butterworth reminded us of a couple weeks ago. So because of this all-pervasive scarcity thinking in our society, I decided several years ago I'm going to try to be part of the solution, stop being part of the problem. And one way I did that was in my professional life. I worked with a lot of immigrants and refugees from all over the world. And of course, they hear that anti-immigrant rhetoric. They hear the people saying, go back, we don't want you, there's not enough jobs, there's not enough housing, there's not enough resources. And so I decided that once we got done discussing their legal matters, I would share with them that there's at least one American in their life who believes differently. And it sounded like this. Welcome to my country. I'm happy you are here. I hope my country treats you well. I hope you're able to make a good life here for you and your family. Many Americans will tell you to go away because there aren't enough jobs, there aren't enough resources. But I want you to know that I know that we have more than enough of everything needed. There's more than enough here. So welcome and thank you for being here. As we think about prosperity, we can do well to remember one of our declarations of principles in Centers for Spiritual Living that says, we believe. We believe in the eternal goodness, the eternal loving kindness, and the eternal givingness of life to all. That one divine life that brought forth all of creation is always giving of itself. It can't help it because it is infinite, and so it is always giving of itself. Everything, everywhere, all the time, to all the people. And to go back to Eric Butterworth again in his book, Spiritual Economics, which, by the way, is available in the bookstore. He's a great teacher, probably the foremost teacher in spiritual economics. He reminds us in that book that the only lack in life is the belief in lack. That lack is a state of consciousness. So whenever we think of lack, we actually want to flip it around and go to prosperity consciousness. And one way we can do that is to remember that nothing is pie. This idea that there's only so much of anything and I have to get my share of the pie because it's limited. It's going to run out and I better hurry up and get what's mine before everybody else eats it all up. Nothing is pie. Whatever good we have, it is not pie. Whatever we have to share, it is not pie. And whatever helps us feel prosperous is not pie. And right now I'm going to ask Brad to come up and pull the screen down because, and we're going to share a slide, because a couple weeks ago this community made a long list of those things that help us feel prosperous. So I want these to be at the forefront of our mind as we continue here. So just give us a moment. Thank you. Because I am not tall enough.
I'm always glad to add my height.
Thank you. And Mark's going to thank you. You're dismissed. Thank you. I think even on my tippy toes, I can't reach that. So this, I think we can get some, Is the laptop on full brightness there, Mark? Is the laptop, oh, there it goes. It just got brighter. Thank you. Okay, so this is our list as a community. And because it was such a long, extensive list, I had to do some grouping, so you might not find your specific thing on here, but hopefully it's encompassed in something. But when we look at this list of those things that you said help you feel prosperous, like life is really good, I feel rich, none of them are pie. You could pick anything on this list. And however much of it you experience, you can still have more of it. It's never going to run out. More love for one person does not mean less love for another person. More abundance for one family does not mean less abundance for another family. More justice for one group does not mean less justice for another group. There is no pie. Nothing is pie. And even those things that might look like pie, they can grow when we collaborate and when we share. To go back to 15 Commitments of Conscious Leadership, the authors go on to share many examples of business executives they worked with when they could finally truly commit to having enough of everything and running their business that way, when they actually started collaborating and encouraging their team members and their employees to collaborate instead of competing with each other for, employee of the year or the boss's favor. Even when they would share and collaborate with their so-called competitors in whatever business they were in, they were amazed at how much everybody's prosperity increased. Their competitors, and I use air quotes around that, and their clients. Story after story after story of that, when they committed to knowing we have enough, more than enough of everything we need. And of course, a very successful businessman was Stephen Covey, and he wrote, "Most people are deeply scripted in what I call the scarcity mentality. They see life as having only so much, as though there were only one pie out there. And if someone were to get a big piece of the pie, it would mean less for everybody else. Instead, I have an abundance mentality. When people are genuinely happy at the success of others, the pie gets bigger." The pie gets bigger. That makes sense from a spiritual perspective for two reasons. First, if you have that prosperity consciousness and you know that nothing is lacking, that nothing you need is going to run out, that there's more than enough, and you want that same prosperity for everybody, you have that genuine, true prosperity consciousness, you are going to attract that into your life and for other people. The second reason this makes sense from a spiritual perspective is everybody, every single person is an individualized expression of the one spirit, right? Uniquely individualized. Another one of our we believe statements, our declarations of principle. Everybody is a unique expression of the one. So the more people we invite in to the creative process, into our neighborhoods, into our community, the more people we collaborate with in a business sense or a community sense, wherever it might be, in our neighborhoods, in our nation, the more ideas are going to come forth, the more creativity comes forth, the closer we get to the full expression of the creativity, the wisdom that is to be had. And so, of course, we're going to be more prosperous, or the pie gets bigger, because we're enveloping, we're bringing forth more of that wisdom and insight. So again, when we look at this slide of your prosperity, we can think whenever we share or collaborate in any one of them, it gets bigger. Giving begets giving. Kindness begets kindness. Peace begets peace. And laughter begets laughter. It's contagious, right? The last point about this, nothing is pie, is even something that really seems to be pie. You're going to tell me, Reverend Bridget, this is pie. It's a finite resource. I'm going to tell you, no, it's not. You might want to remind me of that at the Harvest Potluck when I bring my famous pecan pie, okay? What I mean by this is even an infinite resource can be, like, if it's going to run out, we can make another pie, or we can use a different pie. And the point of this is, whatever need we need to meet, or whatever purpose we're trying to fulfill, there's more than one way to do it. Right? We can use a different process. We can do it in a different way. Because again, the universe is so infinite and so diverse and so creative, there's got to be another way to do it. And we can also remember that we as humans are not pie, in the sense that there is no end to our giving, there is no end to our creativity, there is no end to our ability to collaborate. So to go back to this energy economy thing and this divisiveness we have around switching from fossil fuels to more renewable resources of energy. Some are focused on what we're losing, and some are focused on new business opportunities, new types of jobs. And what I want to say about this is, well, I believe we can meet our energy needs in different ways. Let's remember collaboration and empathy and compassion for those who are afraid. Their family's economy is based on that oil job. Their community is based on coal. They're afraid. So if we're going to solve problems like this, and I'm not meaning to be political, what I'm trying to say is spiritual truth is we have to bring everybody into these types of problems, if we're going to have prosperity for all. There might be another way to do it, but we can't leave behind the people who are afraid. Another example of this is a neighbor of mine a few years ago was sharing with me that he's part of a team developing robots to pick strawberries. And of course, my first thought was, oh, all those poor immigrants that are going to lose their jobs. And he's like, oh, no, no, no. So first of all, we're working with not only the farmers, but also the pickers and how to develop these robots. Getting a robot to gently pull strawberries off a vine, I guess, like a human would, is not that easy to do. But they're working on it. But he also shared with me that as they're doing this, and the vision is that they're training those farm workers how to operate the robots. And they like it a lot better than picking strawberries by hand. So it sounds like prosperity for all. Now, to go back to those academics that gave us that long list of all the problems that can come from scarcity mentality, they did also all agree on one thing, that giving and gratitude are incredibly helpful in getting you out of that scarcity mentality because it helps us focus on what we do have. And we know that. We know that gratitude helps. That's just a little precursor for next week's talk about gratitude and prosperity. But they work because gratitude and giving work because they remind us that there is no lack, there's no pie, that the pie can grow, or there's a different pie. There's a different way of doing it. So I end today with words from the great Michael Beckwith. The truth is that there's more than enough good to go around. There's more than enough creative ideas. There is more than enough power. There is enough for everyone. If you believe it, if you can see it, if you act from it, it will show up for you. That's the truth. And if I could be so bold as to add to what Michael Beckwith says, I would add that not only will that good show up for us, but it will show up for other people as well. So in this coming week, I invite all of us I invite you to be aware of when you might be in a scarcity mentality. Maybe you're participating in one of these areas of prosperity in your life, and just do a check-in. Am I at all in scarcity mentality? And if you are, try to switch it. Try to focus on what you do have. Be grateful and give something somewhere to someone, because it will help you remember that there is no pie and that there's always more, no matter how much you give. All right. We're done with our slide, Mark. Thank you. Okay, guess that'll do for now. Thank you, Mark. Now that's good enough for now, I think. So at this time, we're going to move into prayer. I invite you to take a deep breath, and I invite our practitioner prayer partners, whether they're here in the sanctuary with us or joining us in our virtual community space, I invite our practitioners to join, to stand with me and hold this prayer for this community and their consciousness as well. Thank you. And in this breath, I remember and I give thanks for that tremendous bounty and abundance that is the one life, that is constantly giving of itself, that is constantly saying, let there be life, let there be beauty, let there be joy, let there be dance, let there be music, let there be wisdom, let there be strength and power, let there be love and peace. It never stops speaking its own divine qualities into existence. And I'm so grateful for that. And I know that it has done this throughout all time. It is the only thing it has ever done, does now, or ever will do, and that it does it through all of its creation. It has done this through every human that has ever lived, lives now, or ever will live, regardless of where on the planet they live, or perhaps where in the cosmos this life is. All that creativity is everywhere present. I'm just so grateful for it. And just take a breath and feel that gratitude. Let yourself feel that gratitude for everything. All that beauty and all that joy that just never ends. And in deep gratitude for being able to know this truth, being able to have this consciousness that it never ends, that life's givingness is always just that it gives and gives and gives. I simply say thank you. Thank you, God. Thank you, life. Thank you, Spirit. And I release and I let go, and so it is. Well, thank you. And now, as partners in prosperity, just a reminder, many of you received packets in the mail with some Partners in Prosperity's materials. This is a time when you can let us know your giving intentions for 2025. You can either drop that card in the basket or you can mail it into the center. It helps us plan our budget for next year. And if possible, it would be really helpful if you could return your giving intention cards by mid-November. And as we have done each Sunday this month, we have a sharer. And this week, today, it's Deborah Pettijohn. She's going to share a few minutes about why she gives so much of herself. Well, why? She and her husband give so much. Debbie and Mark are both not only members, but what I would call super volunteers. I think I see Debbie here in the office. Next to me, she's probably here the most. In fact, I'm pretty sure that's true, Debbie. Thank you. All right, welcome, Deborah. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Oh, so nice to be here with my people. Oh, man. You'll forgive me. I may be reading part of this because I'm nervous. And I don't really know why I'm nervous, because you're my family. Anyway, Reverend Bridget asked me to speak to you today to share why Mark and I support PCSL with our time, our talent, our treasure. And I wanted to let you know we've been members here for 9 years. We were initially drawn to hear Reverend Larry speak on Sundays. And we found pleasure, well, I did, volunteering in the bookstore, on the clean team, and helping with administrative tasks like preparing the Sunday programs. We've taken classes taught by our amazing education team. Thank you, Reverend Marilyn, Kate Barrett. I know I'm not remembering everybody on the team, but man, they're great. Over the last 2 years, since Reverend Larry retired, I've been creating and sending out the weekly emails and helping edit the website with the marketing team. Laura Perkins is on that team. And while Mark has been our Sunday videographer since the pandemic began, he loves, that's his passion. So he's made even though he gets a slight payment every month for his work, almost all of that goes back into equipment that comes here. What we've come to know is that PCSL is our spiritual home. This is where we get to know and collaborate with our tribe. You are the reason we continue to be here. We see over and over how the principles of the science of mind are practiced and demonstrated here at PCSL. You all hold a high consciousness. In each of you, and the ministers, the practitioners, the volunteer board of directors, we see Spirit's love in action. Just one of the amazing demonstrations has been how we attracted our new minister. And look who we attracted. Do you realize how special it is that we have attracted someone of Reverend Bridget's caliber and character and empathy? Some centers have had to close when their minister retired, not us. We created a covenant that stressed wisdom, and it was fulfilled. Thank you, Reverend Bridget. Lastly, I want to share a quote from a magazine that I recently read. Faith is not a feeling or an intellectual assent to ideas about God. It's more like a skill you build over a lifetime. For me, that's what PCSL teaches, how to practice my faith, how to trust Spirit. I will always be grateful to PCSL because you have given that to me. Please join Mark and I in becoming our partners in prosperity by supporting PCSL for 2025. Thank you.
Thank you, Debbie. And now it is time for our sacred giving. Thank you so much for your gracious giving to the center. You support everything we do, our music ministry, our teen ministry, many of whom, the older teens and some of our younger adults, are actually at the Next Gen retreat up at Camp Cedar Ridge. PCSL, Portland Center for Spiritual Living, has the largest contingent, the largest group at that retreat, so I'm happy about that. But you help make all of this possible. You can also give online at cslportland.org. And now I invite our ushers up. They're going to pass a basket to collect your generous gifts. But first, let us bless our offering as a call and response. I bless these sacred gifts. I bless these sacred gifts. Giving graciously with love. Giving graciously with love. These gifts bless. These gifts bless. Heal and prosper. Heal and prosper. All that they touch. All that they touch. In giving, I'm grateful. In giving, I'm grateful. To be richly. Lavishly. And abundantly blessed. And so it is.
We hope you enjoyed today's podcast. If you happen to be in the Portland, Oregon area, we'd love to have you visit in person. The Portland Center for Spiritual Living is located at 6211 Northeast Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard. Our inspirational service is at 11 a.m. every Sunday. We also have many programs, classes, and workshops developed just for our online audience. To find out more, go to our website at cslportland.org and look under the Online tab. We have a variety of content dedicated specifically for our podcast listeners. Our mission is to open hearts, ignite minds, and make a difference. If you'd like to support our center and its podcasts, you can donate online at cslportland.org/donate. Our website is also the place to learn more about what's going on at the center or to contact us. Allow us to become part of your extended spiritual community. Wherever you are in your spiritual journey, you are most welcome at the Center for Spiritual Living.